not list four skills that are important for the success of your study and why.
I believe that for success, the very first thing should be goal setting. If you do not have a goal, you're not gonna reach anything. How can you reach something when you don't even know what that is? So I believe that at the very first of success should be a goal. Second of all, you need to have hard work. You have to have that perseverance. You need to have the mentality, and you have to be strong. If you give up too early, then you're never gonna reach success because nobody has ever reached success by quitting. Three, I believe that success requires a lot of networking. You need a lot of people and a lot of social networking so you can have all these people around you that can give you all the information you need for success, especially people who are already successful. And you might even need their skills someday. Four, I believe that something that is very important for success is definitely the faith to God. You need to believe in God, and you have to keep your morals intact so you don't become a corrupt politician, for example, like in Indonesia, and those corrupt businessmen who exploit people.
Describe the trend for the following topic and possible reason for them. C. Transportation.
I believe that in Indonesia, there's been this trend in transportation, especially for buses. For some reason, there's been a lot of popularity rising around buses, and I believe that there's a reason behind it. I believe that first of all, buses are very similar to an Indonesian transportation vehicle called bajai. And bajai is kind of like a smaller version of a bus. So that's why they're more used to it, because a bus is just a bigger version of a bajai to them. Second of all, it's very encouraged in Indonesia to use a bus. Even the government encourages the people to use buses. Why? So they could avoid the traffic, because let's say there are 20 people in a bus. If you put that into cars, that would be at least 5 cars for 4 people. And 5 cars takes more space than a bus. That's why I believe that buses have been a big trend in Indonesia recently. There's so many buses, and I believe that we can learn from them. Maybe we should also use buses, because we can avoid all these unnecessary traffics if we only just use the bus, especially for places that aren't too far. So, I'm going to explain this picture over here. In this picture, we can see a bunch of people walking through an empty train track. And I believe that the meaning doesn't explain itself at first, but I believe if you look deeper into it, it shows how a failed government has caused all these people to break the rules and walk through an empty train track that might have a train on it. And if there was a train, they would literally die. So I believe that perhaps this is a sign of how failed government fails their own citizen. And perhaps this could be the same as in Indonesia, with all these corrupt politicians making the people's lives harder. So I believe that in this picture, it shows that if we have a terrible government, then we would have this situation where people are walking through these train tracks and risking their lives just so they can get to the place they want, all because of perhaps some groceries or anything. I believe that we should strive for a better government, and perhaps we should make the citizens have a better life. Thank you.
Okay guys, good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, so we're going to discuss about what people should consider when planning a memorable holiday. So maybe we can start with the weather first, right?
Alright. Yeah, I think the weather is pretty important. So when you get to the place of your destination, you don't go at the wrong weather. Imagine you're going to the beach and then suddenly it rains. You would definitely won't want
Oh,
that.
that's very unfortunately, yes. I mean, like, you should check in the application, like for example, you're going to the beach or somewhere else that is outdoor. You're going to make outdoor activities. You should check the application first, of course. Like 2 days before your activities, you should check it will be rain or not, or it will be sunny. You should check it, of course. What do you think?
Yeah, like if you're going to Japan or something, wanna look for a sakura tree,
Yeah.
you should check the weather first. If the weather's like rainy or something like a thunderstorm, it's really bad idea going to the place, because the sakura is only
Blooming, yeah.
in the sunny days.
Yeah, sunny
Yes,
days, exactly. And what about the transport?
Oh, the transport is very important. So you need to plan whether you're gonna use a plane or a bus or a train. It's kind of based on how fast you want to go there and how much
fast.
money you want to spend. Because if you want to go by plane, it's the fastest way, but it's also the most expensive way.
The
So
most
you
expensive.
have to take account the cost as well for the transportation, I believe.
Or you want some more cheaper transportation, you can take the train or buses. But of course, there are like consequences if you take the bus. Of course, it will be like traffic jams that it is not unpredictable.
Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
If you wanna go to a far place or near place, only maybe we can use like application like Uber, Gojek, Grab or something.
All the
That's more practice.
the online taxi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's for the transport. And what about the activities that we're going to do for the holiday?
Oh, I believe the activities should be very important. You do not want to go to the place and then suddenly you don't know what to do there.
Exactly.
Because, yeah, you need to know the place. You need to know the activities that you can do in that place. Like in the beach, you need to know like if you can swim there, if you can do all the activities you want there.
Yeah, like playing football or
Yeah.
playing some volleyball or beach ball. Of course, you need to plan every activities or you're going to do like, or you can make have some barbecue on the
Yeah.
villas, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And what about the budget? Like for every holiday budget, like for transportation maybe or anything.
Oh, the budget is definitely very important. If you go to a place and you don't calculate the amount of budget, and then you end up overspending, you're gonna get stuck there because you won't have enough to get home. Imagine if you get stuck in a place that you have no idea about. Like
Yes,
that
yes.
is the worst nightmare. That happens very often in Indonesia as well, especially in Bali, where tourists suddenly realize that they ran out of money.
They run out of
They
money.
don't calculate their budget and they just beg money from the local citizens.
Imagine being a burglar, right? that's the consequences of if you're not counting your budget properly. Of course, we will need to list everything like transport or destination or hotels or your food, anything. You need to calculate it very carefully, or you will be a burglar in another person's country. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, like there's a application called Monify. That's you can take a notes about everything you spend,
Oh,
everything
Monify.
income. Yeah, Monify.
Oh,
That's a good.
I've never heard of that app before.
Yeah, that's.
Is it new?
No, it's already 2010, I think.
2010.
Yeah.
Wow. I see. I've never heard of that app before.
And what do you think about the destination? Like,
Oh
where
yeah.
we're going
The
to-
destination is the most important. Like what's worse than getting stuck in the country is getting lost in the country. You don't know where you are at. You have no idea who
Ooh.
to talk to. It's like the worst
You're
feeling ever.
getting lost.
Yeah.
Yes, that's worse. Imagine if you're going to Japan and where you didn't have any plan. Where are you going to Japan or Osaka or Tokyo or Nagasaki or Hiroshima?
Yep.
Imagine you're going to Tokyo and there's nowhere you want. The places like you don't know where to go. That's
Yeah.
worse. Like you imagine you don't know how to speak Japanese.
Yeah. That is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check on YouTube, TikTok, Google,
Oh.
or something like
Or
the best,
Oh, yeah.
the best place, the best
Oh.
destination
Yeah, for
to go
planning.
in Japan,
Yeah.
in Bali, in what? There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of places that can.
Yeah.
Other
The
community.
internet really
Yeah,
helps nowadays, though, so
Yes.
you don't get easily lost anymore.
Well, as the conclusion, there are a lot of planning that we need to make for a memorable holiday and for a perfect holiday. Well, that's all for our discussion today. Thank you, everyone. Okay, good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, so today we are going to discuss about what are the most important thing in a relationship. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I personally believe that in a relationship, the most important thing should be presence, especially physical presence. You need to be there with your partner to increase that bond. That's why a lot of long distance relationships have that notorious title, because the lack of presence kind of make them fall apart. That's why I feel like you have to be there physically, not just chatting online, not just calling online, but you actually have to be there, because I think that that's how humans are built. Because we are social humans and we can only increase our bond when the other person is actually there, that we can touch and talk to, and yeah, that's what I think personally.
The most important thing.
Yeah.
How about you?
I agree, but I think it depends on the person. Actually, there's a lot of person who doing long distance relationship, like from Russia, Indonesia, or other things like Japan,
Yeah.
Indonesia. Then I think it's a lot of people feel like, oh, I feel this relationship is so boring.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
only chatting, only
Yeah.
video call or something. They can play together or hanging out together. So I agree about what you say.
I see.
But sometimes don't you think about like, for example, okay, you're talking about two person that are chatting each other, right? But what if there's a person between these two person doesn't want to interact or have a relationship, which means there is like a denial.
Denial?
Yeah, denial, which means they didn't want to accept this relationship. So I think is the most important thing here in a relationship here is acceptance. Why? Why? Because imagine if you want to be a boyfriend of someone, but she doesn't want to be your boyfriend. I mean your girlfriend.
Oh.
So how? Like we cannot force the relationship, right? So there will be need acceptance, right?
Mhm.
What do you think?
I believe that's correct for the start of a relationship. But I believe that just acceptance is not enough because people may accept for now, but later on they get bored. And
Yeah.
because of that, like yes, they may accept now, but later on they might just like realize that they made the wrong choice. That's why a lot of people get divorced. They already accepted the marriage, but then they get divorced. So I'm not sure
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree.
why.
But I think like this. If you get bored of a relationship, think wisely. Think wisely. I mean, like, you're making a new relationship, right? So you need to be like you need to like take care of that relationship properly. I mean, like you need to maintain a good relationship of that. Like you have the responsibility. Like you cannot be bored. Come on, like you need to do something. You need to do
Yes.
something like to avoid this boredom. So like you can ask your
Spouse,
yeah, your spouse, your partner, let's do something new, and
Yeah.
don't just get stuck there, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
So sometimes like bored is just a reason actually.
That's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes bored is like uncontrollable, no? Sometimes they actually can just get bored that no matter what you do, it just like there's nothing new. But I believe that I've heard some people's experience. They say that being bored is normal,
Mm.
and that that's what makes it true love. That you're bored, but you still stick with them. And I'm not sure really. I'm not really someone who can stay when I'm bored.
Okay, so as the conclusion, acceptance. What else?
I think
Presence.
talk to, like, if you have someone like your girlfriend and you always talk, like,
Communication.
if you don't talk, you don't have communication, because communication is the key.
Communication,
yeah.
acceptance.
Like
what
you
else?
like you asking what she really like, what her hobby, what her favorite things, and make the relationship more fun and more,
Yeah, more exciting.
know each other deeper.
Yeah.
Okay, three things: acceptance, presence, and communication.
Communication.
Okay, so that's all for our discussion about important things in a relationship. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.